Hello, hello. My name is Aysleth Zeledon. I go by Sachi Ice Queen on a lot of social media. Today's episode on Moving Mountains for You, we have a special guest. We met each other back in May and with an event hosted by Daniel Gomez. So shout out to Daniel and his amazing team. Definitely wanted to get her on and just talk about what's dating life or just women in general. So definitely wanted to have you guys listen to this amazing lady. She is the founder of Keeping It Social, a social media agency that helps entrepreneurs and influencers increase their sales and grow their community online. She's also a founder of a community that helps women entrepreneurs grow and scale their business with the support of expert speakers, networking events, and co-working sessions. And you can follow her at Keeping It Social on Facebook and Instagram as well. So without further ado, if I left anything out, Desiree, you could definitely let us know. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself, anything that I left out, a little bit about your family and you, and we'll go from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be on here and kind of talk about, everything about relationships and building the foundations to a healthy relationship with your spouse. I've been with my boyfriend for about 7 years, going on 8 in November. So we've been very strong, but it's not always easy. And especially like if you're an entrepreneur and your spouse or your significant other isn't an entrepreneur, it could be tough sometimes for them to understand like everything that comes with it. So excited to dive in and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a long time. You guys been, so how old were you whenever you first, when you first started dating?
I was 18. He was 20. He had just turned 20. I was going to turn 19 that year. So we weren't too far off in age. We met at a gym when we were at our healthiest, I would say. We kind of stopped going after, but I mean, everything's been, it was cool to like meet him. And it turned out that after, we had saw each other at the gym and he's over here, trying to like flex and all these things. And then to find out, I actually had him as a friend on Facebook for like years prior. And so he had posted something and I had just gotten off of the gym. I just left. I was about to get in the car and I saw his post and I was like, hey, I know this guy. Like I just saw him like 2 minutes ago. And then we kind of just chatted from there.
Hey, that's a good place to meet someone, at the gym. You guys are both working on your health goals, both definitely doing something productive.
Yes.
So that's really cool that people are still meeting each other that way. I met my significant other through a dating app. Back in the day, there weren't nearly as many. Now there's so many. The one that I used was a Christian dating app. It's called Upward. So for any singles out there that there are specific types of dating apps. I mean, I've seen one for like single parents and like just all kinds of people. And so there's so many different ways to meet people. And I think it's definitely kind of sets the tone of how your relationship could be. I think there's especially like in Tinder and things. I think Tinder has a bad reputation, but I've actually met somebody that like they've been together for like, I don't know, 5 years and they met on Tinder. And that's so amazing. I know. So I was like, hey, I mean, whatever works for you, however you choose to meet, that person, nowadays it's a lot easier to be, more likely to be with someone because of financial reasons, but that definitely should not be the reason for you to go find someone.
No, absolutely. I think I even saw that there was like a gaming one now that just came out where, it's uniting people who love to game. And so, yeah, the options are limitless. Literally, whatever hobby you are interested in, or any kind of activities that you're interested in, there's a place for you. And so I love that about today's age in the dating in the dating realm.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Here in Conway, there's this place, it's like a restaurant. There's like a whole little area where people can like video game or whatever, and then a whole separate like restaurant in the same building. And so it's cool. You can like, dine and, have your date or whatever and then go
Love that.
game. I
That
think that's
sounds super
super
fun.
cool. Yeah, it was a cool idea. I went and I met the owner there and he's like, because I'm part of the nonprofit Learning Idiom, where we virtually create content. So this podcast is part of the nonprofit Learning Idiom. We create both English and Spanglish and Spanish content. And so we went over there to see if, one night we could have like a little date night, and part of the proceeds go to our nonprofit. And so he's like, yeah, for sure, just let me know when you guys want to do it. So I'm like, yay, so um
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a really cool idea. And it's newish to the city, so not very many people that know that it's there, so it'd be a good like, you know um idea for them, because we have a good following here where I live. So it's always nice to have those people that want to support your mission.
Oh, for sure.
So
You need a community in order to grow anything like your business or nonprofit in this case. Like it takes a community for sure.
that's true. That's definitely true. So what inspired you to start this, women's movement or women's community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I first was starting my business, I literally could not afford $1,000 coaching programs. I was kind of just piecing it all together. I didn't have any friends that were entrepreneurs at the time. I didn't have any family members that had done it before either. And so I was just trying to kind of piece everything together. Like, how do I find clients? How do I build my website? What is SEO? Like all these things. And so um on my journey, it took me a lot longer than what it probably should have had for other, entrepreneurs. And so what I wanted to do was kind of bring these experts to new entrepreneurs, to brand new, solopreneurs who are just starting out, who need that help at a low fee. That way they don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a coaching program. They can get every month new guest speakers that are going to help them move their business forward, whether that's through website design or how to create a course, how to launch a book, like how to create a podcast, like all these things. That way they can get the help that they need so they can scale their business without having to worry about or stress about having to do it themselves, or how they're going to do it, or what they don't know. So bringing these resources to them is super important for me, so that I can help them grow in their business.
That's awesome. I think that's definitely, needed. I think a lot of entrepreneurs in their, entrepreneur journey, they feel a little alone. They feel, not very many people can get it unless you are also an entrepreneur.
Yes, yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so you're also part of CLA, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. I was like, I'm pretty sure, but I wasn't sure. So yeah, shout out to Jose, Escobar. His amazing academy is always really, really valuable. And he also was one of our sponsors. So definitely want to shout him out, and as well as Yari Ortiz. She does bookkeeping for nonprofits. So definitely want to shout them out. But that's amazing that you created this community. How long ago did you do this, or how long have you been doing it?
So I actually just launched it. It was on my heart to do it like about 3 months ago. I was wanting to do it before then. I just didn't know like how I was going to do it, what I wanted to include in it. I didn't want to overwhelm like the members with too much stuff, and so they're like, what is it exactly that this community brings to the table? So it took me a while to kind of structure it and figure out like what it is that I wanted to do for them. And so I think that I have enough involved inside, or enough like opportunities involved inside of the community to make it worthwhile for them. So like not only do we have guest appearances, but having those co-working sessions so that they can feel accountable and actually be productive inside of their business was super important for me to include, because without, that guidance, or even maybe even that pressure to like do something in your business, it's easy to, you have all these hours in your day, you don't have a structure, it's easy to, go clean your house or cook dinner, and then that took up all of your time in your day. And so being able to structure it and have some dedicated time to focus on your business and focus on tasks was super important to include, but also networking. So being able to have, entrepreneurs from all different aspects be able to collaborate and work together for a grand mission, and having also a spot for them to ask questions and get feedback on their logos, on their designs, on their web pages, stuff like that was something that I wanted to also include inside the community.
I think that's really cool. I think just like in, dating life, or if you're a new mom or a new dad, in any like new journey that you have, it's always good to have a good support system, to have feedback. And so I think that's really cool that you created that for, everyone in that. And so I think that's super cool. So I definitely wanted to touch on like women's mental health. I think whenever you're dating, or when you're just not necessarily dating, you're still in that little, phase where you just want to be alone. I had that phase. I think it's really important for you to have and maintain your mental health. So how do you maintain your mental health when it comes to, even if you are in a relationship, how do you make sure you make time for that?
Yeah, I think that being able to self-assess yourself, being able to realize, okay, what kind of emotional attachments do I have? What kind of physical attachments do I have? Like, do I need to, like, be needy in some cases? Like, what is that really attached to? What is something that I need to work on myself on? In my relationship was a constant battle for me. I grew up Hispanic. We didn't believe in, mental health or therapy or anything like that. And so being able to kind of read on it and get the help that I need from therapists and stuff and counseling to kind of handle my inner thoughts and progress me forward in my relationship has been definitely crucial. Being able to spot, when I'm wrong, and also like hearing feedback from, my spouse, from my boyfriend, hearing him say like, hey, you're being too needy, or hey, I need my own space, or hey, I need this or that, or just hearing that feedback and communicating was super important in our relationship. And in terms of like mindset, I would say that focusing on myself and really having that space for myself and hold, like I'm always like a giver, so I hold space for everybody, right? Being able to be there for other people. But what I lacked and what I realized as I've grown in myself is that I wasn't giving myself the proper care that I needed to. So some ways that I help focus on my mindset is by journaling, taking walks, and listening to podcasts, and having those alone time with myself, and realizing that I don't need somebody constantly with me in order to be happy is what I've realized that has helped me in both my relationship and life and business, everything. It really is like a foundation. Mindset is a foundational step towards growth in all areas of your life, not just business or relationships.
I think that's really, really important. Yeah. Like I think when you take that time to like be the best you for the people around you, that's the best thing that you can do. For me, I like to go to the hot tub. That's my me time, so I definitely always have a hot tub talks. Sometimes I go live on there when I'm in the hot tub, but uh
Oh, spicy. Love that.
I only do it on TikTok. I don't do it anywhere else. But but I have done it a couple times, but not very often. And it's in like a private group
Yeah,
in
yeah. So
Facebook.
your safe space.
Yeah, so I have this group, it's called Challengers, and it's mainly all like healthy stuff. So I'm just like, hey, this is how I'm getting my exercise in today. So I mean, any kind of exercise is always good for your mental health, stimulate those happy hormones, happy so I think it's very, really good for everyone to make sure that they take, a little bit of time to themselves. I've seen the difference whenever I do it, whenever I don't. I have an autistic son, and so I have to make sure I'm good so that I can help,
Absolutely.
him. I know you have brothers that you take care of, right?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I have my brothers, and at one point it was my boyfriend that I was taking care of because he was getting treatment for his cancer. So being able to be there for him like that was actually the year I think that I was like, okay, I need to make a switch and focus on myself. And I started working out again. And this is something that's also important is finding a workout regimen that makes you happy. I mean, that could look like dancing, that could look like swimming, hot tub, time. That could look like going for walks, that could look like yoga. There's so many activities out there that you can, use for your health that a lot of people just automatically think of like gym time and cardio and running and all this stuff. But there's so many other activities that are actually, could be really fun for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you swim in place for like 15 minutes, that's like if you run a mile. So
Yeah.
I don't like sweat. Like I don't like, just feeling it or anything. And so I prefer to do my exercises in water.
Especially in this heat. Yes, I
Yes. Yeah, it's a good way to cool off because in the summer, of course, I don't go to the hot tub because it's too hot. But
yeah,
that's the good thing about the hot tub. It's you can do it year round.
yeah.
In the winter you can still go. It's the best in the winter actually.
Yeah, I bet.
But
And then yeah, because I've been seeing some of your videos where you're like in a pool. So I mean, yeah, it's water's universal. I feel like all year round.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I grew up by the beach, so I love the water, and so I think that, I mean, just like you said, it's really important for you to find the best way that you and enjoy exercise because it is really important to have your daily exercise. And if I don't do that, then I'm one of those, I love to dance. I'm a Latina as well, so yeah,
Yeah,
um that's kind of what our culture is one of the best things about our culture other
yeah.
than food. Yeah, dancing.
Music, food, dance, yes, all of those.
Oh yeah. So, but I think it's really important for you to find the best way that you um, you know, make sure you take that moment to make sure you kind of realign yourself. I think that's amazing that you journal. A lot of people don't. I think it's really, really important that you do because that's it's really good to like self-analyze yourself and just kind of see your growth. Because if you I don't know about you, but I do a vision board, and so there's
And
things that you can like,
check
cross
off.
off when they're done or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think it's really cool to have that in writing. So then you feel more proud about it, that accomplishment if you see it. Oh, I already did that, check.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
So
and it's also good to release too, when um it's bad to hold things in. Like everybody knows that, you have to release it some way. Some people go to the gym, some people, worst case scenario, they vent it out on other people. And so being able to journal is like you can let everything out, all of your emotions, you can put it on from pen to paper and just release that energy and let it go. And so that's a huge part of my daily morning routine is gratitude journaling, but also just journaling and letting out like my emotions and stuff on paper.
that's awesome. That's good that you write. Have you ever thought of writing a book?
Actually, it is on my radar. I think that if I were to talk about anything, it would definitely be through mindset and the power of overcoming obstacles in your life. I mean, everybody goes through obstacles. For instance, literally the day that my boyfriend was getting surgery for his cancer was the day that my mom passed away. So it was like both a win because he had been battling that cancer for 2 years, and even though they didn't get everything out, it was a huge success for him. I remember when he first got diagnosed, he had an 8% survival rate, and so hearing that news, it's like, wow, like we thought we were going to lose him, and the fact that he's still here today is amazing, and I'm so blessed and thankful for that. But at the same time, I lost my mom. And so not being able to have him there with me after, we've been together for so long, and he's been my rock through it all as well. That was tough. Processing that like without him was tough, and being strong for my brothers and my family was also tough through that. So that's people go through everything, and people go through so many things every day, and there's people who have gone through probably worse, and that's the strength to continue and not be complacent and in that position to be like, oh, woe is me, like life is terrible, like life did this to me, like why should I continue? Being able to progress and have the motivation to continue is very powerful. So that's probably something that I would share in a book.
I mean, that's really, really good though, because I think, everyone needs a little bit of motivation and inspiration, regardless of where you are. Even if you're, super successful, you still need that, motivation to keep going. And
Yeah.
so, the main type of writing that I do is motivational writing. But yeah, Authors Are Us. It's the first bilingual publishing company here in the state of Arkansas. So we publish in English and Spanish and bilingual books. We're about to publish our a book. It's called, the name of the podcast, Transcending La Familia. So it's me and a couple ladies and our stories. Because I love writing, my story, and it's gonna document my divorce story. I sent it to my cousin, and she kind of got on to me, and she's like, you need to be more like, you need to tell more about, like, make it more personal to you. And I was like, honestly, I didn't really realize it until she told me. And then I was like, I probably subconsciously did that because I didn't want to, like, quote unquote, share my pain or whatever,
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, she just kind of was like, nope, you got to do it again. And I was like,
And in your book, are you, sharing that emotions and all of that inside of your book and in your story?
so yeah, so I share, in the book, what, why it happened, the main reasons why it happened, and then just kind of the process of emotions of how I got to that point. And so he has a lot of narcissistic traits, and so I do touch a little bit on that and how I realized that, because when you're in a relationship, you don't really see everything that everyone else can see.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Because you're blindsided, you're like, or even so, you're more focused on the way they used to be. Like, oh, okay, he's just acting out, but deep down, I know who he is. Like, right? So,
Or you're, quote unquote, dating their potential.
yes,
It doesn't work.
yeah.
Don't do it.
And if you think that you can change somebody, you're completely mistaken. They have to want to change in order for them to change. I mean, it's possible, but they have to want to do it. You can't be the one that is, supporting them to change. They have to really want it deep down.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things that I like about the new relationship that I'm in now is that, we constantly, are asking one another, how can I be better for you, And so I think that's a sign of a healthy relationship where the other person is willing to say, okay, I'm not doing this right. What can I do better for you? How can I be better for you? And I think that's really, really important. And so I'm glad that, I'm not in that very toxic relationship anymore.
No, absolutely. And so now that you're in a healthy relationship, like how do y'all both handle arguments? Because I, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. I know, like with my relationship, the way that we handle arguments is we just give each other space. Before that was not like, if you would have talked to 18-year-old me when I first started dating, like I was not like, I wanted to have the final word. And so being able, he is not confrontational at all, thank God, because I'm the one that is confrontational, and we need that balance. And so when we argue, he's the one that's like, I'm gonna take off, I'm gonna, go put gas, or I'm gonna go for a walk, or I'm gonna go to the other room. And he gives me that space, even though I want to like go with him and I just want to argue and continue to do it. He ejects himself out of the situation, and he's like, no, I'm gonna let you cool off. And then afterwards, I'm like, like we fought for something so stupid. We argued because, and it's not even like, when I say fight, I'm not saying that we're like fist fighting. It's just like verbal like arguments. It's like having him like be able to leave and come back. Like I realized that so many of the arguments that we have are just so dumb and so small, and it blows up because we're either hot tempered, or like it frustrated us at that moment. And being able to have him eject himself and then let me process everything and take a step back and really understand the scenario, and not let my feelings go into it is super important for us. And I think that that's how we've been able to manage and grow our relationship, and and be together for so long, is like we both know what ticks us off, and we both know what to do in that scenario in case we do get into an argument or we get hot-headed or anything like that.
Oh yeah. So my man, he is an Aries. Aries are known for being hotheads, so he goes from like 0 to 10 really
Yeah.
quickly. And so in the beginning it was kind of entertaining to me because I'm a very like non-emotional type of person. Like I don't, probably because I grew up with women all my life. I have 3 sisters, and a bunch of like girl cousins, and so I think I was very unemotional because everyone around me was so emotional.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
in the beginning I would see like he would just get so heated and was like so
Yeah.
upset, and it was a little bit of entertainment for me, and then I was like, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And so right
Yeah.
now we're going through premarital classes.
Mhm.
So our therapist told me yeah, that's not good. And so
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I kind of stopped doing it already, but in the beginning, yeah, I would just kind of pick a fight just to see him because it was
See
really
how far you would
entertaining.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the prenatal classes are helping us a lot. We one of the weeks our homework was to learn each other's love language and to
Mm.
really be intentional in showing them love, how they receive love. So we took that test, you can take to find out what your love language is, which we kind of already knew each other's.
Yeah.
But so just having that, mental kind of, making that intentional thing is to how do they receive love, I think that's really important in a relationship when not taking consideration how what they're feeling, how they feel, I think when it comes to arguing though, we always have a rule between me and him. We're always like, whatever goes on throughout the day, where by the time that, it's already nighttime, we're not going to go to sleep like angry at each other, um, and so we made that kind of a rule where it doesn't matter how bad it got, we always just kind of, you know, are on good terms. That
Absolutely.
way, because you never really know, I it's a Bible verse as well too, it says to not go to sleep angry. So
Mm. Oh
uh,
yeah, absolutely. No,
but I think
I
that's one of the things that we do is like we just, make that, mental decision to not be mad, just kind of hash it out, talk about it, I sometimes I go for a walk or sometimes he goes for a drive after we've talked about it. That's one thing is different for me because now I'm dating a white guy, and I've been told that white guys, they like to communicate, they like to talk, and so that's one of the things that I was not used to at the beginning. Like I would just take off, like I would leave, And I was mad and I would just leave and cool
Yeah,
off on my own, but I can't
yeah,
do it anymore because he doesn't like it. Like
yeah.
he's like, "No, I don't trust you when you're that mad. What are you gonna do?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
so he wants to like make sure we're like semi okay. And then he's like, okay, now that we like talked about it, I need to go for a drive. I need to cool off. And so,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that's mainly how we kind of deal with fights, you know.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think that communication, right? Like knowing like what the other person is and is like is communicating and taking a step back and really hearing them, but also one thing for me was that I grew up in a very like strong household, I would say, where like we didn't cry, we didn't like throw a tantrum, we didn't do any of that. And so being able to and so in that I didn't learn to like how to emotionally process like somebody else's like thoughts and feelings, because we never like growing up, it was always ignored. It was like, screw your feelings, like this is the evidence that you have in front of you, like this is like how we're going to do things and stuff like that. And so um being able to kind of grow that and really take a step back and really realize like what I'm saying, like what you're saying out loud, are you doing it because you're just emotional, or does it have some truth behind it? And if you say it out loud, like how is that going to affect the other person? Like is that going to um have a longer effect than this 5 to 10 minute argument? Like what is it that you're saying, and really comprehending like what you're putting out there, so that you think about, okay, well maybe I shouldn't bring this up because it's a soft subject, or maybe I shouldn't say this because maybe it'll like linger in his head and stuff like that. So um being able to process that and take a step back about and really just really think about what you're saying in the argument, so that it doesn't leave a worse effect on the other person, because our words have power. And saying the wrong thing to somebody, even if it's something so small. I remember one time I was arguing with my boyfriend and I was like, you're never there for me, he's always there for me. And I was just so mad, I just said it. And then later on, he was like, like you said that I didn't like, I was never there for you, but like, this is everything that I've done for you. And like, why didn't you see that? And I'm like, I was just mad, forget everything said. But it's hard because it's just like now, like they're thinking about that, like, should I be there for that person? And so just like, being cautious of and conscious of what you're saying out loud to the other person, and not just speaking from anger.
I think that's really, really hard to do sometimes, but I think it's definitely
For
doable.
sure.
I think what I always try to do is I just always say, do I love him enough to not hurt him with my words? Uh,
Yes.
because in my previous relationship, I didn't really care to hurt him with my words.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't the best thing,
Yeah.
but I've
Everybody
learned,
everybody
everyone learns from their, or not everyone, but you should learn from your mistakes, and so a lot of the things that I did in my previous relationship I don't do anymore because I noticed the negative outcomes that I got, or
Yeah.
the results or the consequences of it. So I think that's definitely good to keep in mind. If you're starting a relationship or if you're in one, definitely keep in mind what you say and the way that you treat the person. um I always think back to, at the end of the day, I'm still going to love this person, I'm still going to want to be with this person, so whatever we're arguing about is not going to be worth it at the end.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
um I just always try to keep that in mind. But yeah, but I definitely wanted to, I always ask all of my guests this question. I would love to, hear your take on it. If life was a lesson, what would you say it's been teaching you using one word?
I would say consistency. Being able to be consistent in everything that I do, not just business, but being consistent with, life in general. If I say I'm going to do something, making sure that I hold myself accountable to do it. That's been really what I feel like life's been teaching me lately.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, I think it's really good to be consistent in what you're doing, how they say, Rome wasn't built in one day.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think it would, in whatever journey that you're starting or that you're in, just make sure you celebrate the small wins, not just the big wins. I think it definitely helps your progress when you notice those little wins.
Oh,
So
for sure. The small wins are just as important as the big wins. 100%. It's a journey. And you got to celebrate it.
for sure. But yeah, any last words do you want to say, or any shout outs you wanted to give, or upcoming events that you might have?
Yeah, so definitely shout out to Jose and Daniel for introducing us. It's great talking to you and your audience. And if you would like to connect more, I always share about social media tips and sales strategies for your content. You can follow me at keeping it social _ on Instagram and at Desiree Silva on Facebook.
Yeah, and we'll share her information below so you can connect with her. Thank you so much for your time, and definitely wanted to give Ty King a shout out too, because he's I'm gonna be part of the second podcast convention here in Arkansas. So I'm excited. It's gonna be next month. And so definitely be on the lookout for that. That's gonna be my next in-person event. Hopefully I'll see you in November. I'm gonna be over there in the makings of a millionaire.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll get to see you. I'm not sure if you're going, but I'll be in San Antonio.
Yeah, we'll definitely catch up. Yes, either way.
For sure. Okay, well, it was great to see you again, and say hello to your boyfriend and tell him to it's just time to put a ring on it.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Yeah, all right. Well, you take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.